Yo, what's up? I'm Kirsten Terry, and I want to talk about the future of reading. And there's an app that's helping us all be better readers and more efficient with our time. That app is called Recast AI, and we're going to talk about that. But for the people that don't know, every day I ask myself, what's the future? And I take detailed notes in a journal. You can check out that journal at everydays.wtf. This video is a part of that. So, I want you to go check it out. If you're thinking about getting into the whole realm of future thinking and asking yourself, what's the future? You can start off with my notes. It's a great place to just get acclimated with concepts that impact our daily lives as it relates to technology. Now, every year, I feel like this question comes around like clockwork. Are audiobooks better than reading? And I swear, every time I see this debate, it gets cited the same studies and people redo the studies and they still end up in the same domain. And guess what that means? That means that, the comprehension is about the same, right? So even though the information is processed differently by our brains, recent audiobooks versus reading research from 2021 has showed us that the overall difference between reading and listening in terms of comprehension was negligible. And when I think about that, I go pretty far and wide. I'm like, well, if some people like to sit down with a book and they've got that calm, quiet moment and they can get it in, why not? But if other people love their AirPods and they've always got them in, why shouldn't they be building their understanding and just getting a greater cultural context through reading? And so there's this whole point that reading is boring, and I'm not mad at it. Introducing Recast. Now, what Recast does that I like is they allow you to just surf the web as you normally would. You find something interesting, but you don't have 15 minutes to read it. Guess what? You go on Recast, you recast it literally. I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. And then you build this feed that turns that article into an easy to digest podcast. I'm going to showcase that, but before I do that, I want to jump into what this looks like from the founder's perspective, and then we'll jump into the WTF.
I'm Adam, co-founder and CEO of Recast. Do you have a big reading backlog or a million open tabs you mean to read but know you'll never get to? Recast can help. Our app takes any article online and turns it into a bite-sized audio combo so you can read more without reading.
Now, we understand what Recast is. I was curious when I first saw this the other day to just try it because I was like, okay, that sounds too good to be true. So I'm going to load up this Recast article. It's from the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to bring on Mike from our team. I'm breaking the third or fourth wall, whichever wall it is. Mike, where you at? Ah,
All the
Mike,
walls broken,
I know
mashed.
you don't like audiobooks, right?
I'm indifferent about audiobooks. My retention on audiobooks is not that great, to be honest. My retention on podcasts is good. It's like a conversation. Conversations I can retain a lot. Audiobooks for whatever reason, I lose the plot.
All right. So I you don't use Recast to my understanding, correct?
No, I mean, well, it's relatively new, so I don't use it yet. I'm just exploring it along with whoever else is just learning about it for the first time.
All right, cool. So this is going to be a live demo. I'm sure you've heard about the versus Zuckerberg fight. Do you have a side that you're choosing? I'm Team Musk. I think Musk has this all the way.
Who am I rooting for, or who am I betting on? Because I
You know,
think I think
so
Zuckerberg is going to win.
All right. Well, there you go. You're Team Zuckerberg. I'm Team Musk. We're gonna get that covered. But I don't know about the Italian cities. Like I saw some of the tweets, but I actually don't know anything about it. Let's see if this article from the Wall Street Journal can be broken down. I think it was a set. It's a 5 minute read, but we've got it here in less than in three. So let's check it out. Let's see what it's about. Recast AI live feed.
Reaction
Musk
video.
versus Zuckerberg fight may never happen, but Italian cities are still jostling to host it. From the Wall Street Journal. This article is about the ongoing back and forth between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg regarding their potential cage match and the interest from Italian cities to host the event. Let's listen in.
So it looks like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are still going back and forth about their potential cage match. The fight has caught the attention of Italian cities, who are vying to be the host for this epic event.
That's right. It all started when Elon Musk made a post on his social media platform X, suggesting that the fight should take place in an ancient Roman setting. He spoke with the Italian Prime Minister and Minister of Culture, who apparently agreed on the idea.
But Mark Zuckerberg wasn't convinced. He responded on a rival platform, Threads, accusing Musk of not being serious about the fight and casting doubt on its legitimacy. He even mentioned that Musk asked to do a practice round in his backyard instead.
The article mentions that since June, when they first announced the fight, both billionaires have been exchanging trash talk, but haven't provided any concrete details about the event. It seems like a lot of bluster without much substance.
Absolutely. And when it comes to choosing a venue, there have been some interesting suggestions. Initially, many assumed Musk was referring to the city of Rome itself, particularly the Colosseum. However, Italian officials deemed it too fragile for such an event.
That's right. Attention then turned to other potential locations, such as the Circus Maximus, an ancient oval stadium known for hosting chariot races. Another option mentioned was a movie set used in Ben-Hur that is now part of a movie theme park near Rome.
And let's not forget about the mayor of Taormina, who touted their ancient Greek theater with a panoramic view of the Sicilian coastline. Seems like everyone wants a piece of the action.
Some Italians, however, aren't too thrilled about the idea of hosting a billionaire cage fight in their historically significant locations. They believe it undermines the dignity and history of their country.
And it seems like money is a big factor in this decision. Italian Undersecretary Vittorio Scarbi said that Musk and Zuckerberg can use any venue as long as they pay.
Exactly. And the Italian culture minister, Gennaro San Giuliano, has mentioned that any money received from the fight would go towards scientific research and upgrading pediatric hospitals.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Will the fight actually happen? And which city will be chosen as the host?
We'll have to wait and see. That's it for today.
All right, so what's your take?
I feel like I just had 55 cups of coffee.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when I listen to audio, I listen to it at normal speed actually. So when I'm
Okay.
listening to something super fast, which I saw that was at 1.5, so you can
Yeah.
slow it down. But that's where my mind was the whole time was just hearing kind of the beat and the cadence of what was being talked about. Like I retained stuff, but like I don't know if I would do that for an elongated period of time.
Okay, I mean, so you could bump it down to 1.x. I'm all about efficiency, so I can follow a conversation at 1.5, 1.7, 2. 3 is when it gets hard for me. Like 3x is really difficult, but with enough focus, if I'm just sitting on a plane, I can listen to stuff at 3x. So I'm
Yeah,
not.
and if it was for like an information download, I can listen to it at that speed too. I'm just saying like how it mentally makes me. But like you said before about like audiobooks, like although I don't listen to them widely, I'm happy it exists because I see why people would want this type of product particular as well as like this way to consume media or
Yeah,
information or whatever else.
that's fair. Well, I'm gonna jump back into the WTF. Thanks for breaking the wall with me, and we'll get back to producing the show as regularly streamed.
Reaction video.
And there we go. There we go. So, we caught Mike's reaction to Recast AI. I personally would agree with, the whole concept of this is pretty good. I'm shocked. There's a lot going on in the background, which makes me totally impressed by the software, and I think it's something that I'm going to add to my daily routine because I read a ton of information, and some of the stuff I don't need to spend my time on when I could like get the download while I'm brushing my teeth or doing something else. And what I like about it is it takes the information, it processes it, and then it makes it accessible, but by way of a conversation. And that reminds me of an app that even Ryan Hoover talked about a few years ago, which was called Humano. And, they shut it down. But what they did was they took some of the world's top most popular articles and they got professional voiceover people to go and read those articles. And it worked. It worked, but it just didn't grow because it wasn't that scalable. And it would be hard to make that business work from a unit economic standpoint. With that being said, AI does allow for that to actually work, and AI has gotten so good in so many areas, whether it be generated voices, whether it be processing the text to like the actual LLMs, where the large language models can understand roughly what's going on and break that down into something that a human could actually understand. I'm just like, all right, like what's so exciting? And I think what's exciting here is this is a use case of AI that impacts something that we all have to deal with, whether you're, a toddler, an adult, or an elderly person. We all should be reading. I think everyone can agree on that. That's largely the consensus. And when you have an app like this, that is so easy to integrate and is largely accessible from a pricing standpoint. They have a free version that anyone can use. And if you want more features, more functionality, it's about $9 a month. You're not going to complain at paying $9 a month and you can get whatever content you want read to you or broken down to you in your favorite podcast. And check this, they even give you a podcast feed that's private where it takes your articles that you've sent to Recast and it goes right to your favorite podcast player of choice. So you're meeting people exactly where they are. Like if you want to recast an article, you can do it right from your phone, you can do it right from your browser. If you want to listen to a recast, you can do it right from your phone, your browser, or your favorite podcast player. It's pretty damn dope if you ask me. So I'm very excited on the notion of like integrating AI into our daily lives where it makes you more efficient and it allows you to build a better worldwide context. Obviously, what matters is the content you put in it. But I'm not mad at this because when you think of podcasts in their traditional sense, podcasts are largely big mediums for groupthink. Like someone gets on a podcast, they syndicate it. There's no editors checking or fact checking some of the things that are said. So you can get some wild, baseless conclusions from podcasts, and you can largely have some impacts that are felt worldwide because people just listened to this podcast and kept sharing the words. And now it's a syndicated thought that probably shouldn't be had. And we've seen kind of the calamities that have ensued from that on all sides. So what I do like about this is brings it back to some of the publications that we've trusted to guard against groupthink for some time. And obviously, there's some fail safes there, but obviously there are some biased publications out there as well. In publications, I trust more than just your average individual. And finally, one reason why I'm really excited by this is because it takes a concept that people already do. People already listen to podcasts; they're familiar with it. They are enjoying the whole podcast listening experience already, and it just gives them a new way to access reading. And we've seen this happen before. If we go back, about 5, 6 years ago, there was this whole concept of just people checking out chat stories. This is an example of a chat story. And what it is basically an author sits down and writes a story out in a iMessage or text message format. And then they work with a video producer to make it actually look like a real iMessage conversation. The reason why this worked and millions of people watch these things worldwide is because people already text all day. They want the stimulus that comes with watching a screen and watching a video. They don't mind reading, but reading has to be exciting and fun. And in this case, you get the salacious erotica stories or you get the scary horror stories, the things that people would already read, whether it be mysteries, thrillers, you're just doing it in a new format. And guess what? There's a whole slew of teens and kids that read these stories on TikTok and YouTube Shorts every single day. And it's exciting because to me as an author, when I see things like that, I definitely get behind it because I'm like, yo, like this is what the future of books and entertainment are probably going to look like. And it's going to be less like, someone printing out a piece of paper just so that they can send it off to a shelf where no one's ever going to pick up the book. And it's a sad reality, but that's where we're at with it. So with that being said, every day I ask myself, what's the future? And then I take detailed notes and store them in a journal. You can access that journal at everydays.wtf. I will be utilizing Recast here moving forward. And if you've got thoughts on how to use Recast AI for other things in your life, I'd love to hear about it. Please leave a comment below this video, and I will catch you in the future.